Okay, let's just jump right in. Welcome to today's Deep Dive Explainer. We are tackling a massive, honestly kind of mind-blowing environmental myth today, one that even the most well-intentioned, eco-conscious consumers get completely wrong. We're going to thoroughly dismantle what I like to call the Great Green Illusion. And it all boils down to an epic battle between two very different concepts: degradation versus decomposition. Throughout this analysis, we're going to look closely at the source material to reveal exactly why a single innocent-looking word on a product label can mean the absolute difference between genuinely helping our planet and unknowingly trashing it.
So I really want you to ask yourself this right now. Are degradation and decomposition the exact same thing? Just think about that for a second. To most of us walking down the grocery aisle or scrolling through stuff online, these two words sound totally identical, right? You see degradable stamped on a plastic bag or a takeout container, and your brain just automatically lumps it into that same happy, eco-friendly bucket as decomposition. It sounds like a total win for the environment. But here is the massive, critical takeaway we need to clear up right away. While they might sound exactly the same to the casual buyer, they are quite literally worlds apart. Understanding this difference, that's the real key to unlocking the truth behind so much of the green marketing we see today.
To really get this illusion, we have to put these two concepts head-to-head. Degradation, according to our data, is frankly this beautifully disguised environmental trap. Decomposition, on the other hand, that's our actual solution. When we talk about degradation being a trap, it's because it totally plays on consumer psychology. It gives us this wonderful illusion of a clean conscience. We toss that degradable coffee cup into the bin, we pat ourselves on the back, and we think the plastic has just magically dissolved back into Mother Earth. But the underlying truth is actually way darker. When plastic degrades, it absolutely doesn't go away. It just hides. Let's pull back the curtain on what's really happening. So, what is actually going on inside this trap? Picture this. Those supposedly eco-friendly plastics are just sitting out there baking in the sun in high heat. Instead of returning to nature, that extreme environmental exposure just makes the plastic super brittle. It's not melting back into the soil, it's just losing its structural integrity. And over time, it simply shatters. It breaks down into countless, tiny, microscopic fragments, eventually turning into completely invisible microplastics. Keep in mind, these are totally unnatural substances, engineered in a lab, and now they're just being scattered everywhere by the wind and rain. And that leads us to a pretty terrifying reality. Because they are so unbelievably tiny, these unnatural materials slip right into our food chain. They didn't vanish from the earth, they just got small enough for us, and for wildlife, to eat without even realizing it. Our source material actually uses this incredibly precise, chilling phrase to describe this whole phenomenon. It points out that these microplastics shamelessly stick around in the soil, oceans, and even enter the food chain. I absolutely love that personification, shamelessly sticking around. They are literally like deadbeat house guests who just refuse to leave the planet. Because they're completely synthetic, they just act like they own the place, quietly building up in our soil and oceans and polluting entire ecosystems over decades. So the absolute crucial point here is this. Please do not be fooled by clever marketing. Degradation is absolutely not real decomposition. Those invisible plastics never truly go away. They just put on a disguise and become a much stealthier problem. Okay, let's take a deep breath here. Relieve some of that tension and shift gears. Because it's not all doom and gloom, there is a very optimistic reality here, and it's the actual answer to saving our Earth. Enter true decomposition. This isn't a marketing trap, it is a perfect natural cycle. So how does it actually work? Well, it always starts with natural materials. Think about things like natural tea fibers, which our source uses as a really beautiful example. In a proper composting environment, these tiny microorganisms safely consume and break down those materials. It is literally nature doing exactly what nature was designed to do, working in this perfect, elegant harmony. The microorganisms feast on the organic material, converting it from one natural state right into another, without leaving a single trace of synthetics behind. And honestly, the absolute best part about this natural process? The leftovers. The byproducts are incredibly pure. When true decomposition finishes its cycle, you are left with exactly three things: water, carbon dioxide, and organic matter. And that organic matter? Those are pure nutrients. It 100% returns to nature. There are zero microplastics left behind. Zip, zilch. Instead of leaving a toxic, shameless residue that pollutes the food chain like degradation does, this process actually creates rich, healthy nutrients to actively nourish and heal the earth. It is a brilliant closed-loop system where absolutely nothing is wasted and everything is repurposed for life.
Tying this all together, the big takeaway is this.
True decomposition is the ultimate eco-standard. It's the very definition of genuine environmental protection. We really shouldn't just be aiming for things to sort of break down or shatter into invisible hazards. Honestly, that's setting the bar way too low for the massive crisis we're facing. This perfect, regenerative, natural cycle of true decomposition, that is the absolute highest standard we should demand from the products we buy and the companies that manufacture them. Anything less is really just falling for that beautiful environmental trap we talked about at the beginning of this deep dive.
So to make this super practical for you, we've distilled the core data from our sources to give you a gold standard checklist for your next shopping trip. Think of this as arming yourself with a secret weapon against greenwashing. You really need to look for 4 specific criteria. 1. Is it purely natural? 2. Is it actually compostable? 3. Does it result in 0 microplastics? And 4. Is it absolutely non-toxic? Commit this checklist to memory. Jot it down on your phone if you have to. This is exactly how you identify genuinely eco-friendly products and protect yourself from falling for those sneaky greenwashing traps that line the shelves of practically every store you walk into. Which leaves us with one pretty heavy, lingering question to chew on. We've looked at the trap, and we've explored the solution. Now that you understand the massive, world-altering difference between these 2 identical-sounding words, I have to ask, next time you see degradable printed on a label, are you still going to easily buy it? Knowing about the invisible microplastics hiding right behind that word, I really hope this explainer challenges your future eco-friendly shopping habits. The power to change things really is in our hands, and true environmentalism absolutely demands true decomposition. Thank you so much for joining me for this deep dive analysis, and hey, keep demanding that gold standard.